Hello, well, welcome to 30 Minutes. I'm Rick Anthony. You would have had to be marooned on a deserted island not to have heard the news that cannabis is Mother Nature's wonder drug and Wall Street's latest shiny object. CBD is in everything from health drinks to skin cream, and THC has been approved for recreational use in some states and restricted in others, and the efficacy of medical marijuana depends on who you talk to. Seldom has there been so much confusion about what's good and what's bad, what's legal and what's illegal, and what works and what is pure, unadulterated hype. My guest today spends most of his time helping people understand the benefits of alternatives to chemical pharmaceuticals to relieve pain and promote wellness. Chris Conway is an entrepreneur, a nutritional expert, and an authoritative resource for information about dietary supplements. Scores of people, including me, rely on the information that he dispenses on a daily basis at Solutions for Health, a shop he operates in the Gateway Shopping Center in the farthest extremity of Wayne. Chris, welcome to 30 Minutes. It's a pleasure to help you here. I guess we've known one another for about 10 years. I first met you when you made a presentation at a meeting of the Entrepreneurs Network, over which I presided for about 17 years. It was then that I began to learn of your commitment, a true commitment to helping people live healthier lives and to not be so dependent, so reliant on chemicals to remedy illness or deal with illness as well as to promote wellness. Why? Why this mission? Why are you so passionate about this?
Well, I think a lot of us have personal reasons. You know, I've had a child born with health conditions, so it's very important that, you know, I understand every little thing going on in his world so I can best optimize his potential to, you know, live a good, long, healthy life. Secondly, I have the great fortune of working with some incredible medical doctors that have exposed me to lots of interesting research and data. And a lot of our work is focused on epigenetics, Rick, which means, you know, these are the factors that control your health as it relates to diet, exercise, and environment, versus genetics, which is what you're born with.
Yeah.
And, you know, the facts are the far majority, 85% of all chronic health conditions are epigenetic in nature. They're lifestyle diseases, which means self-inflicted, right, which means you can potentially fix them with lifestyle changes.
We'll have to have a conversation about that. So most people, for most people, I have arthritis in just about every joint that's supposed to be able to bend and doesn't anymore. That's aged, it's genetics. My mother was arthritic. Other members of my family have been arthritic. That's not self-inflicted, I don't think. Or are you saying it is not self-inflicted, but there are things you can do to remediate, lessen some of the pain?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. That it's not, I wouldn't say it's self-inflicted, but there's no question lifestyle has a big factor.
Yes.
I mean, the number one cause of osteoarthritis, which is deteriorating cartilage disease, is inflammation due to poor eating habits and being overweight. Those are the biggest causes. Being overweight puts pressure on the joints, which expedites osteoarthritis. And to your point about it runs in the family, it rarely doesn't. What does run in the family is habits. We grow up and we tend to have very similar habits to our parents. But in today's age, people are much more informed. We're paying more out of pocket for healthcare than ever before, and it's not going to ever reverse at this point. So these are the factors that are driving people to want to change, not have to take medications unless necessary, and obviously there's times when they are, but they want to live a long, healthy, physical life.
Let's see if we can get a glossary of terms going here, at least for my benefit. What is hemp, and how is it different from CBD, and what's all the fuss about THC?
Yes. So being in this industry 20 plus years, 25 years, I've had the store. I will tell you, nothing's ever hit the market the way hemp, CBD, medical marijuana has. That's good news, good news for the economy.
Yeah.
However, the challenge is, the perception is it's a cure-all, which is not the case, which we'll discuss. Yes. But hemp is the plant. So CBD and THCs are chemicals found in the plant. So there's different variations of the plant that have different potencies and different chemical profiles. So CBD is like any other herb found in a plant. One that is very popular today is curcumin, turmeric. So that's an isolated chemical from a plant that is used therapeutically to reduce inflammation. So CBD is the legal non-hallucinogenic chemical found in the plant. THC is the hallucinogenic chemical found in the plant. CBD is legal. There's still some legalities around it, but it's, as you know, and as you mentioned, being sold everywhere. CBD by law, if you buy CBD in a health food store, for instance, it has to be under 0.3% THC. And where medical marijuana is where you're dispensing THC, typically used for pain, stress, anxiety. Now, the big difference between the two, one, the more CBD you use, the less of it you need to produce the same effect. If you smoke marijuana, use THC, you actually need more of it over time to produce the same effect. So they work completely different in the body. CBD is the therapeutic part of the plant. THC is the hallucinogenic part of the plant. CBD regulates neurotransmitters on what's called the endocannabinoid system. We all have this system in our body. It has receptor sites that regulate neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are the chemicals in the brain that control mood, sleep, pain, anxiety. So when those are imbalanced, you have these issues. As you balance the imbalance, the symptoms go away. Now, it's all part of a healthy lifestyle.
So CBD alone does not...
It might offer some benefits, but it's not going to fix the problem if you're not doing all the other things effectively.
But there is hemp. There is a product called hemp.
Yes.
Is that correct? It can be a topical...
yes. Okay, so I'll explain that to you.
Okay, so I think there's still 3 different products, hemp.
Not necessarily,
CBD,
but
and,
yes.
Okay.
So it's a little confusing. So
I have hemp in a tube.
yes. So what you're seeing is a lot of companies are using the word hemp because they don't want to put CBD on the label because that could draw up a flag. So hemp is the plant. You can buy hemp oil just like you can buy olive oil. Hemp oil can be used topically. Some people use it in cooking. However, it's not used therapeutically. And there's no CBD typically in raw hemp oil. It's extracted from, just like you extract oil from olives. It's when you isolate the chemicals in the plant, that's where CBD comes into play. So a lot of people will sell hemp cream that has CBD in it. But what you see is hemp.
Yes.
And that's typically because of the regulations that are still evolving, that's why you see that.
In your shop, you don't sell THC, is that correct?
I don't sell
only
THC by
CBD.
itself because it's illegal. I have some products that have 0 THC, and I have some products that have less than 0.8% by law THC. So this gets into what is the best form to take. The data suggests that when you take all the cannabinoids, CBD is a cannabinoid, THC is a cannabinoid. When you take them all together, and there's about 15, 20 others, that produces what's called the entourage effect. All the chemicals working together to regulate a system in the body. That is what most of the data suggests is the most effective way to take it, and that's what we, promote. And we have a lot of data. We always lead with information, I say.
Who established the standard of 3% THC?
I think that's a government regulation.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Does the government know what it's doing yet with regard to these products?
Oh, I think they know what it's doing, but like anything in a capitalistic society, people see opportunity, so it's everywhere. So a lot of these claims are outlandish. It's not the magic bullet. It's still a piece of a puzzle.
Yeah.
I always use the reference. It's the diabetic who takes his medicine with a Coke. Yeah, you're missing the point here. This isn't the way it works. So if you eat right and you exercise, CBD can be a piece of that puzzle to help alleviate certain conditions in the body.
I know you do a lot of research, always doing a lot of research. And over the months that I've been coming into the shop, you have featured different products, different hemp and different CBD products. And I think you've even formulated one of your own, a CBD product. What are the criteria? What do you look for when you do the research in terms of efficacy, purity, quality, what?
Yeah,
Or
so-
all of those things?
So I, again, as I mentioned earlier, I'm very fortunate to work with some very accomplished physicians that do this clinically. So we talk regularly, they provide information to me. So we carry brands that other stores carry, for instance, because these big supplement companies just got into the business and their salespeople come in and say, hey, carry our CBD. So we'll carry some of that. But we created our own line called Sati Med because one of the physicians I work with has been using CBD for years clinically, and we determined, independently third-party testing this company, they had the most advanced products on the market. Advanced meaning all the chemicals are present to produce what's called the entourage effect. And one of the big challenges today is how much should I take? What should I take? So we take the guesswork out. We have a help desk, and we have a questionnaire where we can customize dosing for individuals. And that has gone incredibly well. People love that level of service.
But again, how is that product different, better than everything else that's on the market?
I think,
Specifically?
yeah, specifically is because it has a full spectrum of all the chemicals being present versus just CBD. And that's the big difference.
And the other chemicals include?
Other cannabinoids, and then there's something called terpenes. Terpenes are the chemicals found in plants that give them their scent, but they also have very interesting and potential therapeutic value. So our products have full cannabinoid content and a full terpene content. We're also certified organic. We're seed to shelf, which means we grow it, we process it, we produce it. So that's, we control every step of the process.
But how do you do research? Not just you, but other people
Yeah.
as well. Because in my experience, most of it is anecdotal. Does it work for you? Yeah, it works for me. Yeah, well, it was working for me, but it's not working anymore. Or it's not quite as good as I thought it was. How much of this is psychosomatic? I use it and I think it's working because I want it to work, because nothing else has.
Well, I think there's a great piece of psychology that comes into play with health. If you want to be well, you're going to get up and get yourself to be well. If you don't, you're not going to be. So a lot of it, psychology of being well, is we could do a whole show just on that. To your question about the research. So the good news is in the supplement nutraceutical industry, there's more research than ever being conducted, which is great because now it provides a platform. It provides evidence-based approaches to using nutrients therapeutically. And again, the docs I work with use it therapeutically in a clinical setting. So that's the good news. But like any industry, CBD, supplements, the car industry, people are cutting corners to make more money.
You refer to it as a nutrient. Is CBD a nutrient?
I think anything that you ingest that provides benefit would fall under a nutrient. Typically, when you talk nutrients, you're thinking vitamins, minerals, and then isolated nutrients like polyphenols. I mean, there's great research on the use of polyphenols. So polyphenols are chemicals found in different fruits and vegetables. One in particular that we're very interested in is called pterostilbene. Is the chemical found in blueberries. And the research is fascinating how it protects the cells. So if you protect your cells, then means you're going to age gracefully. And once your cells break down, then you promote disease, you promote inflammation. So again, that's a whole topic, but that's an example.
Natural blueberries or blueberry extract, or does it
No,
matter?
you're isolating the chemicals from the blueberries.
So it's the extract.
Having said that, you can't eat enough blueberries. I mean, the data, the health value is just off the charts.
I have them every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I have them because I like them.
Yeah, and they're incredibly good for you.
Now, Chris, I know you're not a physician, and therefore you must carefully walk the line as people come into your shop all the time and ask for your advice, your guidance. Tell me what to buy. They see these shelves of all kinds of things, most of which I don't understand. I can barely pronounce the names of the labels. But certainly when I read the fine print, I don't know what I'm reading. I don't understand the reason for the alleged efficacy of this product. But if I walk in, as I have, and say, Chris, I've got pains here, chronic pains here. It's not just episodic, it's chronic. And I've had it for a long time, and I've tried all this other stuff. What do I do? What's the line you can't cross in giving me advice and counsel as to how I should treat my pain? Not just which of these products should I try, but how should I treat my pain?
So by law,
Is that a difference?
yeah,
Okay.
but by law, we can't prescribe,
Right.
nor do we. I always say, we're really good purveyors of information, right? So my job is to inform you, to educate you. So let's say you have chronic pain. So the question is why? Okay, I have a slipped disc, I have a bulging disc, I have a deteriorating cartilage in my knee. Okay, so the question is, how far along is it? Is it something that lifestyle changes can have a positive effect on? So I'm always in the thought that you can always do well for yourself by eating better, exercising, staying flexible. One of the things that happens when you have inflammation in a joint, and the joint is deteriorating, well, you lack blood flow into the joint. So there's a great saying. So Dr. Lamole is one of my advisors. He's an incredible retired heart surgeon who wrote a great book called Integrative Cardiology. He wrote a great book called After Cancer Care, and he's about to finish a book called Flow, which is all about the lymphatic system. And in the book, he talks about if you don't get effective blood flow to the brain, to the heart, to the joints, they're not going to work as well. And over time, if they're not working, if they're not getting proper blood flow, they're going to start to work poorly. And eventually, you're going to end up with a chronic health problem. So when someone comes in and says, I have chronic pain, number one, why do you have it, and is it fixable? Number two, if it's fixable, here's how we can do that. Here's how you should eat. Here's the supplements that have been shown clinically to help reduce pain and inflammation. Again, piece of a puzzle. And then what can you do physically to fix that problem? Flexibility is huge because flexibility opens up the joints to allow more blood flow into the joint. So if you're not, if you're so far along, maybe the best thing is to get a knee replacement. There's a time and place for that as well.
Don't say that.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I'm doing everything to avoid the
Yeah, so those areas, physically, emotionally, nutritionally, you got to address those. And when you have a chronic condition, you have to address them even more aggressively than if you don't.
It occurs to me. Do you have an opinion, an educated opinion on stem cell?
I know a little bit about it, not a lot. I think it's another interesting topic, as in there's varying degrees of quality of what's going on in the marketplace. And I know that's in the process of being regulated as well. From a strictly health perspective, if it helps somebody produce a better outcome, how can you be against it?
Yeah.
From a strictly health quality, and the data's there. I mean, so I know people that are doing it and getting results. I know other people that aren't and aren't getting results. So I think it's very person specific, but I think health is very person specific. And what we try to do with Solutions for Health is sort of personalize, customize that path.
You just reminded me of the conversations I have with my primary or with the many specialists I have for various parts of my body. And when I tell them I'm trying CBD or I'm trying this or that, and I ask for their opinion, what I get is kind of a shrug of the shoulders, and as you said before, if it works for you, it kind of falls into the category of it couldn't hurt.
Right.
Won't recommend it, but if it works for you, it couldn't hurt.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's a medical opinion.
Here's what I tell all my clients. I say, the most important thing is that you're in control of your health. Not your physician, not your neighbor, not your aunt, that you're in control. Because if you just follow the path, the conventional path, and not change why you got there in the first place, the odds are you're going to end up on multiple medications. I think the average 55-year-old takes 7 medications a day. So typically one medication might lead to another one. They all have ripple effects.
Prescription drugs,
prescription
not
drugs,
supplements.
correct.
Really?
Yeah, and most prescription drugs lead to another prescription drug. I mean, the ripple effect is not just we're here to lower your cholesterol. What else is going on?
Yeah.
So the more in control of your health you are, those folks always get the best outcomes.
Yeah.
And my job is to educate, inform you about how to do that.
I remember when I first walked in, there's a survey that you asked me to fill out. And I guess you do the same thing with most of the people who come into your shop?
So what we do is for the CBD oil, we have a questionnaire.
Yeah.
We ask you to fill it out. It talks about your gender, your height, your weight, your condition, the severity of your condition. Then our help desk will take that information and give you a suggested recommended dosing. Again, we're not physicians doing that, but based on research, based on access to information, and we've done thousands of these at this point. We do the same thing for health conditions. On our website at solutionsforhealth.com, if you go there, you could say, I'm Jane Doe, I'm Bill Smith, I have prostate cancer. Our job, I have rheumatoid arthritis. Our job is to give you information to take control of your health.
Yes. What do you see as the future for cannabis? And do you see the day when you will be dispensing TLC?
I think the future is regulation,
Yeah.
which is probably the best thing, because that'll weed out any of the people that aren't really doing the honest things.
No pun intended.
Exactly. So I don't foresee that we'll be carrying THC.
No?
I'm not sure I'd want to carry it. There's a time and place. I don't think my model is for that. CBD fits perfectly into my model.
Yeah.
Not sure THC does. And I do think there needs to be some regulation because it's a drug. I mean, if you legalize it, the beauty is, I've heard the argument, well, it's way better than alcohol and drugs.
Yeah.
You could make that argument. But, you have a lot of young kids today self-treating.
Yes.
And and I have college kids, and I hear stories, and I'm like, geez, where do they get this stuff? Where do they get these drugs?
Yeah.
So I think it's a very fine line in the sense that if you have a teenager who's stressed or has anxiety, do you want him smoking pot before he goes to school every day? Maybe not.
Yeah.
But do you also have a 50-year-old in chronic pain from an injury that he had no control over? Is it better than taking opiates? Most likely. So I think it's a very interesting topic, but it's also not a cut and dry topic.
I'm a card-carrying medical marijuana user.
Yeah.
I've tried it, and at first I thought it was helping, but as I said before, it may have been psychosomatic. I wanted it to, so it was. I'm not getting the same relief I was before, so I'm back to using the regular cannabis. Point of the story is, and I won't name names, but 2 separate occasions, I asked the people who were part of the dispensing mechanism for the marijuana. I said, "Does this get into in my bloodstream?" No, it's topical. It doesn't get into your bloodstream. I said, "Well, are you sure?" It does not. It's topical.
Yeah.
It doesn't get into the bloodstream. Nope. 2 people at this particular dispensing told me that. I mentioned it to my primary. He said, "Of course it gets into your bloodstream."
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. That worries me. That I asked a direct question. I got a false answer. I don't know whether or not it was ignorance on their part or it was deliberate to make me feel better. Either way, it's disturbing. And I hope that's one of the reasons. I hope that there is more regulation, as much as I hate to see more government regulation. But that's the kind of thing that I think is really bad.
Yeah. There's a time and a place.
Yeah.
Yeah, for all this. And I think the most important thing, the message I like to leave with people is understand your condition, why you have it, what you can do to stop the progress of it. That's how you achieve the best outcome. And our job is to help you down that path.
What other sources do people have available to them to learn about cannabis and some of these other?
I think the best
THC
website that I use is called projectcbd.org. It is a nonprofit. They're not selling product, but they have great data. They have condition-specific data. They look at both angles, with THC, without THC, THC by itself, CBD by itself. So that's, in my opinion, and I'm sure there's others, but that's the one that I use, called projectcbd.org.
Let's switch to some of the myths about supplements. Obviously, at least part of your business is supplements.
Sure.
Your shelves are crowded with all kinds of nifty stuff. I know you have said in the past that when we've talked about specific supplements that your products or other people like you are better than what I can get at the pharmacy, at the drugstore, because of?
So a couple of reasons. And that's not to say there's things at the pharmacy that are not equal quality.
I understand.
What I recommend people stay away from is anything with artificial colors, artificial chemicals that are used in the binding process. There's clearly certain forms of different nutrients that are much more highly absorbed than others. So we try to bring the science to bear and try to provide the cleanest products that exist. And the good news is every year for the last 30 years, it's gotten better every year. I mean, the quality standards are off the charts today. One issue that comes up a lot that it's good to tell people about is people say, oh, supplements aren't regulated. Well, and that's absolutely true. However, every good company, the plant that makes the supplements is regulated. So you could go in there and you can get a certificate of analysis, an independent third-party testing of any product today to make sure it's clean, you're getting what you pay for, things like that. Now, there are people cutting corners. Like I said earlier, absolutely. Every industry has it. But that's the sort of rules we abide by. And we do the same thing with CBD oil. We provide independent, third-party testing. So that's how at least you're getting what you paid for. But I think the quality, the regulations in the supplementancy is at an all-time high. It's going to continue to get better and better and better.
Should every person, man and woman, be over the age of 50 be taking a multivitamin?
Oh, statistically, 80% of the people are deficient in vitamin D, or more than that, 80% in magnesium. So across the board, if you look at the statistics, most people are deficient in certain nutrients that you would get in a multivitamin. Most people are deficient in healthy fats. So, life is inflammatory, right? Just breathing, walking. So, what I tell people is a good multi, take some fish oil.
But is there still some debate about, some debate about fish oil?
In my opinion, no. I mean, there's enough research to fill this room to why you should take fish oil. But if you take an isolated study with men over the age of 60 that have prostate cancer and they say, oh, they took fish oil and it didn't help. Well, that's totally different than taking fish oil. Keep in mind, healthy fats are what they are.
Yes.
Fish oil is a healthy fat, right? Avocados are a healthy fat. Depending on your belief, grass-fed cows that produce butter is a healthy fat. And you need healthy fats. They produce energy in the body. They're great for brain health. They're great for metabolism. So, it's really understanding the specifics. And then but what I do a lot at the store, as you mentioned earlier, we get a lot of referral business. I have this condition. What should I do? So then I provide information. So I give a lot of condition-specific recommendations on diet, nutrition, and supplements. But based on research. So it's got to have the research. We're not going to just say, oh, try this or try this. We try to give very specific recommendations based on the research.
More and more we're told that each of us has to be more responsible for ourselves, our own health, which means we have to know more, learn more, and be more accountable to ourselves and for ourselves. But this is daunting. It really is for most people to first be aware of and then take seriously the responsibility I have to learn as much as I can and then make decisions for myself. It's really tough. It really
Absolutely.
is.
And one of the things we try to do is take the guesswork out. I like to think we're a trusted source of information, but there's other people doing it. I mean, more doctors than ever are using alternative medicine practices. More doctors than ever are selling product. So, this is, it's evolving. But like any, if you have a particular expertise, that's where your focus has been, your career. So, that it's hard for you to take on this whole other body of knowledge.
Exactly.
So we try to help people take the guesswork out.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. It's been
thanks for having me.
educational and certainly informative. My guest today has been Chris Conway, who is, as I mentioned, an entrepreneur, which is how I first met him, and the owner, operator, proprietor for Solutions for Health at Gateway Shopping Center.
Yep, right next to Trader Joe's.
Right
Just say Trader Joe's. Everybody knows Trader
You got
Joe's.
it. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rick.
My pleasure.
Bye.
Excuse me. What can I do for that? Until next time, this is 30 Minutes. I'm Rick Anthony. Take very good care of yourselves.